We are checking out and then ranking all of the hero classes in The War Within. In this video, we're talking about the Deathbringer, which is available to both Frost and Blood Deathknights. Deathbringers, brutal executioners that reap the souls of their enemies. Checking out these hero specializations, we're going to talk about their concept, their implementation, and how powerful they are, and then give them an overall ranking.
Sazaze.
Deathbringers were some of Arthas' most powerful Death Knights, like Deathbringer Sarfang from the Icecount Citadel raid. This specialization is about marking foes for death and then reaping their souls. For the implementation of this hero specialization, you get a new ability called Reaper's Mark. This is a 45-second cooldown, 12-second duration debuff that goes onto a target, and at the end of the duration, the target explodes based off how many instances of shadow or frost damage were dealt to the target over that duration. This buff will also move to a new nearby target if the target it's on dies or if the buff detonates on a target with low 35% health. This ability feels really good when used appropriately, but could definitely feel like an absolute miss if you judge the timing incorrectly. The rest of the tree either makes it so that Reaper's Mark does additional things like sending out blades forward and back, or makes it easier to stack the debuff by making more of your abilities deal Shadow Frost damage, or by increasing the number of stacks each ability gives. With the Grim Reaper talent, when this mark detonates, it'll then put Soul Reaper on any targets below 35% health, chaining off of that bringing to death even better and making your execute phase absolutely extraordinary. The capstone of this feature makes it so that when the Reaper's Mark does detonate, your next either Marrow Rend or Obliterate will do an awesome scythe-based attack around you for damage to all targets nearby. If you chain Reaper's Mark onto multiple dying targets, you can get this scythe effect multiple times. This is a very active specialization, and you need to be tracking that Reaper's Mark as well as knowing the correct time to use it. This is definitely for players that want a little bit more engagement in their rotation or are able to actually track these kinds of mechanics. So ranking this thing out, concept-wise, I think they missed the mark. Where the Sand Lane was very much the Blood specialization hero spec, this Deathbringer is supposed to be the Frost specialization one, and it doesn't quite feel like it hits that mark, in my opinion. I don't think there was that many people really excited to be a Deathbringer, or even Deathbringer was even on anybody's radar as a possible hero specialization. I would give this concept a 2 out of 5 stars. For that implementation of it, they did an awesome job. For taking what they actually came up with, the Bringer of Death, and making this whole Execute and Reaper's Mark style playstyle, it feels exactly like it's supposed to. And I think they nailed that concept with a solid 4 out of 5. If the scythe-based stuff in this felt a little bit more cohesive, I would have ranked this a little bit higher if there was more of a Reaper kind of style to it. For the actual power-wise, this thing can be really strong if executed correctly, and it can be really weak if not. Power-wise, I definitely think I would say it is on the strong side, and I'm going to give it a 4 on the power scale. But I definitely wouldn't recommend this specialization to those that struggle with keeping up with all sorts of debuffs. This ranks this thing up to about a 3.5 stars average hero specialization score, and I definitely think this is what the Blood Deathknights are going to go with for the most part. It is more impactful and rewarding than the Vampiric Sand Lane. For what I would change about this, Rune Knight is definitely the route I would have gone towards for a hero specialization. I think more players when playing a Death Knight are trying to be a Rune Knight than they are trying to be whatever a Deathbringer is really supposed to be. A Rune Knight could get a cool new rune specialization for their weapon enchant that could really shake things up and make it a unique, interesting choice. And I really feel like a Rune Knight fits better in what the Frost fantasy is looking to be. Let me know what you think about my rankings for each of these, as well as what you would give each of these different characters.